Mexico's Minister of External Relations, Dr. Jose Antonio Curibrena, paid a visit to St. Vincent and the Grenadines yesterday as part of a tour of the Eastern Caribbean in a show of support for the three islands which were affected by the Christmas floods. The Mexican minister was welcomed at the E.T. Joshua Airport by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Nathaniel Williams. He was then taken to Cabinet Room to meet with Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, where they held talks and later signed a memorandum of understanding between both governments. Minister Meade says Mexico is seeking to strengthen the bilateral relations with St. Vincent and the Grenadines and to get its support for two upcoming meetings, the Summit of CARICOM and Mexico and the Association of Caribbean States meeting.
They will help us focus the agenda and deliver good, concrete results to the benefit of the Caribbean states, to the benefit of the region. Mexico very much wants to feel close to the Caribbean. We want the Caribbean to feel Mexico close to it, and we want in particular to strengthen the friendship that bonds St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Mexico. So thank you.
Well, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who welcomed the visit of the Mexican minister, gave the assurance that as chairman of CARICOM and the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, he will be attending the two summits.
The Association of Caribbean States is a very important vehicle for Caribbean, Latin American or Caribbean integration beyond the borders of CARICOM. The Association of Caribbean States consists of the countries washed by the Caribbean Sea. And really, it has a focus on five things, what I call the 4 T's and 2 C's: trade, transportation, air and sea, technology, including information technology, and tourism, and of course climate change.
And the Prime Minister Gonsalves noted that the government of Mexico is a strategic partner on the Argyle International Airport project, and he hopes this will expand into the operation and management of the airport upon its completion.
Mexico has shown itself, and under this new and vibrant president, to be deeply interested in strengthening relations not only with Latin America, but also with the Caribbean. We expect a government which is as progressive as that of Mexico currently to be, among other things, our interlocutor at G8 meetings, the IMF, the World Bank. Mexico is a country of 110 million people. It's the 10th largest economy in the world, and shortly, I believe, the way it's expanding, maybe the 9th, the 8th. It's one of the Latin American giants, and one of what is called the emerging markets. But it's a country of immense strength and influence, and therefore for our small island states in the Eastern Caribbean, we can hardly think of a better interlocutor at these fora than Mexico.
In other news, the opposition leader Adam Eustace says he's disappointed that disaster relief supplies are being given to people who are not affected by the December weather system. In an interview with SVG-TV News yesterday, Eustace said there are persons outside the 5 affected constituencies who are receiving relief supplies, which he termed as unfair. According to the opposition leader, the NDP will soon start its own distribution process and has committed itself to helping everyone despite their political affiliation.
And there are people who need relief in some constituencies that are affected, that are getting nothing. It is unfair. It is wrong to do that. And in some instances, the discrimination against NDP supporters is clear. So, I've indicated whatever we get, we're not going to discriminate. I mean, I went to the Prime Minister's constituency 2 days after the storm. We distributed things in his constituency.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines cannot achieve the change required on its own, and the Girls High School young leaders are being urged to help change the society for the better. Delivering the feature address at the school's Young Leaders Group launch on Friday, Barrister at Law Michael Charles told the students that the power of the people is much stronger than the people in power.
Young leaders, it is your solemn task to examine and put forward ideas of how to change society and of how to alter negative perceptions. Exclusionary policies, politics, mentalities, procedures, and simply ways of being are simply no longer acceptable nor feasible. Now, despite the liberal and permissive free-for-all nightmare that this may conjure to some, this is clearly the way forward.
The young lawyer advises the students to seek to put all major issues affecting the society together and to see how best they can help bring about changes for the better.
Exclusionary practices must be inculcated into the youth. It is much easier to mold a seedling or a sapling than to try and shape a gnarled and twisted tree set in its ways. It is my opinion that whatever diverse practices or examples of diversity the Girls High School young leaders identify as key drivers to make society thrive, then they must, as a matter of practicality, work on effecting and affecting attitudinal change. Attitudes matter because they translate into actions and behaviors that impact directly on individuals and groups in society. Indeed, it seems reasonable to pose that as a possible result of your work, that you could plausibly impact on the formation of even political ideas and policy making. In fact, political behavior includes attitudinal components. Perceptions and policy influence each other in both positive and negative ways.
The GHS Young Leaders 2014 group was launched under the theme Diversity, the 21st Century Imperative. A diverse society is a thriving society.